and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Romeo and Juliet, and today we get to hear from the prince in Act 3, Scene 1, which is the scene where everything kind of goes crazy. You know, we had the cute little romantic comedy going on. We had boy meeting girl. We had girl liking boy. We had a secret marriage going on because their families are fighting. We have a friar who thinks that this marriage can fix the everlasting battle between the two sides. We also have a stern warning from the prince at the beginning of the play that if there's another fight in the street, somebody's going to die. So Act 3, Scene 1, we had Tybalt coming looking for Romeo because he's annoyed or pissed off that Romeo crashed the party at the Capulet's house. We had Mercutio trying to protect Romeo. We have Romeo show up and say he doesn't want to fight, but Mercutio and Tybalt are so wound up at this point that they start fighting anyway. We have Romeo physically jumping into the middle of the fight to get them to stop, which turns out to be a bad idea for Mercutio because he gets stabbed under Tybalt's arm. He gets taken off, he dies, Tybalt runs off, Romeo decides he needs to take revenge. Tybalt comes back, Tybalt and Romeo duel, Romeo kills Tybalt, and then at Benvolio's urging, because Benvolio knows the next time there's a fight in the streets, which there just was and 2 people died from it, more people are going to die. So he tells Romeo to run away so that Romeo won't be killed once the prince finds out what's going on. So then the whole town descends, and the prince basically wants to know, or primarily wants to know, what happened to Mercutio. So when Benvolio is telling the story of what happened, he paints Romeo as a peacemaker, as the one who's trying to avoid this whole fight because he doesn't want a sentence of death passed on his friend Romeo. But as soon as he's done talking, Lady Capulet is like, no, Romeo killed Tybalt, my cousin, so Romeo needs to die. And the Montagues are like, no, one person from each side has now died, so that should end it. If the prince is concerned with who killed Mercutio, it was Tybalt, who's dead right here, so that should be it. But the prince says, and for that offense, immediately we do exile him hence. I have an interest in your heart's proceeding. My blood for your rude brawls doth lie a-bleeding. But Alla Mercy was so strong of fine, that you shall all repent the loss of mine. It will be deaf to pleading and excuses, nor tears, nor prayers shall purchase our abuses, therefore use none. Let Romeo hence in haste, else when he is found, that hour is his last. Bear hence this body, and attend our will. Mercy, not murders, pardoning those that kill. And that's the end of Act 3, Scene 1. So in this speech, he is saying Romeo is banished. Romeo is no longer allowed in Verona. He has to leave immediately. He doesn't get a grace period to like pack up his favorite belongings and say his goodbyes. He has to be gone right now. If he ever sets foot in Verona again, he will be killed. Because the prince, in fairness, the prince already warned them that this was going to happen if they fought again. And they fought again, and somebody on each side died. And maybe it's because he was listening to Benvolio. Maybe it's because he's super annoyed, frustrated, crushed, disturbed that Tybalt killed his cousin Mercutio. And so maybe he's a little bit glad that Romeo killed Tybalt, but he's not so glad that he's just going to forgive everything and let it all go and let everything go back to normal. So he has banished Romeo and says, no more of this. I am not taking any more of this. Don't even bother asking for leniency or mercy or kindness because I have none left to extend to you. This is it. This is it. You guys are done. You're done fighting, and Romeo is banished. So that's the end of Act 3, Scene 1. But yeah, Romeo still wants to consummate that whole marriage thing that he did earlier in the day. And Juliet, up to this point, is totally oblivious to what happened this afternoon. So those are a couple big things that we still need to see coming up, and we will get into them starting tomorrow. I will see you then. Mwah.